Hello, friends. It's Ken Graves here with GodSword. Zechariah, the 6th chapter. Zechariah, chapter 6. Zechariah writes, Then I lifted up my eyes again, and saw, and behold, 4 chariots were coming forth between the 2 mountains, and the mountains were bronze mountains. With the first chariot were red horses. With the second chariot, black horses. With the third chariot, white horses. And the 4th chariot, dappled horses. All of them mighty. Then I answered and said to the angel who was speaking with me, What are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said to me, These are the 4 spirits of heaven, going forth after standing before the Lord of all the earth, with one of which the black horses are going forth to the north country, and the white ones go forth after them, and the dappled ones go forth to the south country. Now the mighty ones went out, and they sought to go to patrol the earth. And he said, Go, patrol the earth. So they patrolled the earth. And then he cried out to me and spoke to me, saying, See, those who are going to the land of the north have caused my spirit to have rest in the land of the north. Let me deal with this section, verses 1 through 8 first. Zechariah's vision is this time of 4 chariots passing through a mountain pass between 2 mountains, and those mountains were bronze. Now, Zechariah, neither Zechariah nor the angel addressed the mountains, but bronze, it's quite a statement. It is a metal that speaks of judgment. As the brass or brazen altar, the bronze altar that was constructed for the tabernacle, that is the place with the fire which would consume the sacrifice, the fire which was symbolic of the wrath of God, the judgment of God, as if the victim sacrificed was being consumed in that judgment. So bronze mountains. And we have then a variety of colors. And I do note that there is variety in God's creation. He doesn't make everything exactly the same. I don't think even the angels are like sort of, replicas, clones. There's like only one kind of them. I think there are many different kinds, many different orders, even as God is quite diverse in the creation of humanity. But they mean something, and these colors are significant. There are, in fact, 4 colors here. Red horses, black horses, white horses, and dappled. And all of them are described by Zechariah, who saw this vision, as mighty. Red always does speak of great bloodshed and blood. Black speaks of death, war and death. White always speaks of victory. At least when portrayed in the form of horses. We'll see it in the book of Revelation as well. And the dappled or mixed colored, grizzled, whatever, descriptive word the translators choose, it tends to speak of pestilence. So here, Zechariah sees this, and he asked the angel, the angelic messenger, what are these? And the angel said, these are four spirits of heaven. These are the four spirits of heaven. For angelic messengers from heaven, the Lord's angels. And he says here, they're going forth after standing before the Lord of all the earth. And that is who Yahweh is, not like other made-up gods. He is the Lord of all the earth, and he has no limit, no sort of end to his jurisdiction. And then the description of their these chariots and their horses, with the presumption that the angels, angelic beings, are in fact driving them, we have the record of the direction. And the one with the black horses is going forth to the north country, and the white ones go forth after them, and the dappled ones go to the south country. This is interesting to me, that the black horses, which are symbolic again of death and war, go first, and then the white horses after. The white horse-drawn chariot go after. And here, he mentions in the 7th verse that the mighty ones went out and they sought to go to patrol the earth, and he said, go, patrol the earth. So they patrolled the earth. He cried to me and spoke to me, saying, those who are going to the land of the north have caused my spirit to have rest in the land of the north. So directionally speaking, even though Babylon would be considered north and east, because of the topography of the land, their invasion always came from the north. They came directly west and then went directly south. So the invasion came from the north. There's a lot to the north of the land. There is both the invasion from Babylon, also the Assyrian invasion. They also came from the north. And certainly much later, Magog, or the land of Magog. But here, at this particular stage, the angelic messenger expresses on behalf of God that his spirit, which has been worked up to a point of wrath, has been allowed to have rest in the land of the north. And that is an indication that God acted in judgment, no longer restraining that, but he has, in his patience, allowed it to go just to a certain point, and then judgment to the north has come. And then verse 9, he shifts gears. In verse 9, and the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, take an offering from the exiles from Heldai, Tobijah, Jediah, and Jediah, and come to the same day, and come into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah, where they have come from Babylon. These men coming from Babylon apparently come bearing great wealth to finance what was going to happen, the rebuilding, this great project there in Jerusalem. And God says, the word of Yahweh, verse 11, take silver and gold and make an ornate crown, and set it on the head of Joshua the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. A crown, both silver and gold. Take both of these metals and bring them together into one very ornate crown, silver and gold, and set it on the head of Jehozadak the high priest. Now you realize that the priestly tribe is Levi. The royal tribe is the tribe of Judah. And these two roles were not to come together. The role of priest and the role of king were to be kept separate. Remember, King Uzziah presumed to function in the office of priest, and God brought great judgment upon him. The roles in the Old Covenant of high priest and king, they were two very separate, and they were roles to be kept separated. But here, a crown that was to be made of two metals, and that crown was to be placed on the head of the high priest. Now, God has already spoken of Joshua through Zechariah, and through Haggai. He has spoken both of Joshua and of Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel is the civic leader. He's not necessarily an heir to the throne of David, but he functions in this, and both of them have been spoken of prophetically as the two that God was going to use in this particular day for the rebuilding of the temple. And he promised them things. He promised to empower them. He promised to give them success in this great mission. But it's Joshua, high priest, who is to wear this crown of both silver and gold. And then, verse 12 says, "Then you will say to him, thus says Yahweh of hosts, behold, a man whose name is Branch. He will branch out from where he is, and he will build the temple of Yahweh. Indeed, it is he who will build the temple of Yahweh, and he who will bear the splendor and sit and rule on his throne. Thus he will be a priest on his throne. The council of peace will be between the two offices." Two offices. The office of high priest and the office of king will, in fact, be brought together. They will be united. The council of peace will be between the two offices. Now the crown will be a memorial in the temple of Yahweh to Helem, Tobiah, Jediah, and him the son of Zephaniah. And those who are far off will come and build the temple of Yahweh. And then you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me to you. And it will happen if you utterly listen to the voice of Yahweh, your God. Excuse me. So this crown, these two metals, this ornate crown, this was a prophetic statement of a man who is here prophetically referred to as the branch, even as he was back in chapter 3. It's a prophecy of Messiah. There would be one who will come, and he will unite both of those offices. He is our king and our priest. The crown itself, though it was set on the head of Josiah, the high priest, it was done so to make a prophetic statement. I'm sorry, I said Josiah, didn't I? Joshua, the high priest. So it was done as a prophetic statement, and the crown itself would not rest and sit there up on the head of the high priest, but it would be left in the temple as a statement, a prophetic statement, a memorial of something that was future. The crown will become a memorial in the temple of Yahweh to these who he used, and he used these men coming from Babylon with their wealth to finance so much of this particular temple at this time, but he spoke of a future temple in this prophecy. Behold, a man whose name is Branch. He will branch out from where he is, and he will build the temple of Yahweh. This is yet a future temple, and from that future temple, he will bear the splendor and sit and rule on his throne. Priest on his throne, uniting the two offices. This is a prophecy that will ultimately be fulfilled in the kingdom age when Messiah reigns upon the earth, and he reigns from the temple of God. It will be then and there that these two roles of king and priest will be united, and they will stay united forever. Beautiful prophecy. And I don't know that I fully understand the significance of the angelic chariots and the colors of the horses, but I see that much. That much I can see. But this crown, second half of chapter 6, this excites me. The king, who is our high priest. He is our king now in our hearts. He's on a throne, seated at the right hand of God the Father, but he will reign on this earth, and I believe soon. I long for it. Friends, don't you? Don't you long for the age of man to come to an end, the age of flawed fellow humans reign over the earth? And with all of their limitations, not just their flaws, but their limitations, there is a king who is almighty, who's coming, the branch. Ironically, you'll grow up in Nazareth, or as the Hebrews say, Natzaret, branch. You will grow up in Branchtown. You will be called a Nazarene, a Branchian, right, in a sense. Jesus of Nazareth. Well, there's a wonderful thing to think about, that coming king and priest. No slighting here of Zerubbabel, the civic leader. He's not deposed. He is continually serving together with the high priest, Joshua. And God has his plan for both of them. But this is a prophetic statement. Thank the Lord for it. This is our study for today. We'll continue with chapter 7 next.